on go, the Chesterfield Masters of Motocross, and here we get just a quick insight. We'll be looking at it in more detail in go at the Maastricht event, which took place on the 23rd and 24th of November. Jeff Stanton wasn't here, but all the other boys were here, and we saw some exciting stuff. Stefan Everts back on form again, and here we see Stefan Everts. Unusually, he hasn't been very comfortable in this Masters of Motocross so far, but my word, he put the pressure on here in one of these semi-finals here. And a good win there for Stefan Everts. Now, as we move on to one of the next, we see Georges Aubet running into trouble there. He hasn't been happy, has Georges Aubet. And he's saying here, I was very surprised with the start. It was a hard start, and he made a few mistakes as well. Now he's eliminated. I've got to look towards the future, he says, not look behind. So here he goes, Georges Aubet, number 11, just overtaking Johnny Rauchegger, the Belgian rider there. So, the second day of the motocross here, Stefan Everts feeling good, but also some other interesting riders there. Charles Sweeby, we haven't really seen before, and 22, Ricky Ryan. 16, Larry Ward. Did very well in Monaco, very consistent actually throughout the championship, or the series so far, which of course goes to Japan and Italy. And Larry Ward riding brilliantly on the Sunday. Huge crowds turning out in Maastricht. And there's Stefan Everts on home ground, determined to do well. Keep your eye on number 4, Gary Cooper, as well. And that looks like my old mate Massimiliano Gassarata there as well, number 27, doing well. And a good battle between Guy Cooper, number 4, and Stefan Everts at that point. But we've cut to later on in the race. As I said, this is really just highlights, showing you, though, huge jumps they've got for this indoor crowd who love it. Number 17 is Dean Matson from the States on a Suzuki machine. Stefan Everts riding beautifully here. Very much more his sort of course, not quite so twisty, and the washboard's not quite so technical. And here he is. He's saying, I'm leaving on Sunday for Tokyo. He's going to do a few engine tests for the 250cc World Championship. Then he'll be off for the Masters in Tokyo. And then the end of the season, of course, will be in Italy for him. So he's a busy boy. So, well done to Stefan Everts. And that's the final results of the Maastricht Supercross. Larry Ward second, Dean Matson third, Pekka Vekonen fourth, and Cooper in 5th position. But leading the overall standings as we move down to Monaco. 2 days, was a day of qualifying and 2 days of finals and semi-finals. Great action and a great venue for this event here, with the backdrops of the mountains behind and the Mediterranean on one side. This is the first semi-final on the Saturday, and we'll be looking at the Sunday action a little later on. Now, Jeff Stanton's carrying number 2 this time round, in case that muddles you. Those of you who saw the action from Barcelona, he had number 3 on. And of course, Barcelona was the first time we saw him. Talan Voland, number 25, is going well. We always expect good action from the Americans here. They've virtually dominated the event so far, apart from showings from people like Stefan Everts. But it's crazy. The really surprising thing at this stage is that not many spectators turned out for this event, and I would have thought it would have been ideal. There's perfect grandstands, wonderful facilities laid out here, and they're virtually empty. That's Larry Ward, 16, and 9 there, of course, is Donny Schmidt. Jeff Stanton in the lead at the moment. All these men, of course, those of you who haven't seen any of the previous rounds of Masters of Motocross, they're all riding 250cc machines, which does make it, whoa, so interesting as Talon Volan gets knocked straight off on the old washboard there. And 5 going through Stefan Everts, hopefully keeping out of trouble. He's found some of these courses just a little bit too demanding. Now, talking about demanding, everyone's going over there. We have a look at this in slow-mo, and that's Mike Fisher. And it looked pretty bad, but both the guys are all right. And Donny Schmidt flying high there. Lots of people getting involved in that. Ray Somo on the Kawasaki, just pushing his Kawasaki out of the way. And in the background, you won't have seen that, but we're going to have a look at this because Donny Schmidt, and there's Strybos, look, he leaves his machine, and Strybos goes to the right, his machine goes to the left, and Talon Volan goes through the middle. So lots of retirements there. A bit of a shame, really. Dave Strybos and Mike Fisher out of it. Jeff Stanton very much in it and up front at the moment. And he takes the checkered flag the way Jeff Stanton knows how to take the checkered flag. Second is Larry Ward. And it didn't really change. The only changes were for third position, which went between Talon Voland and Donny Schmidt, who ended up way back in 5th. He was third for half of that first heat. Saturday evening here, you can see the sun. It's got a nice warm Mediterranean color to it as we move on to our second semi-final. And we've got to keep our eye, of course, on Jean-Michel Bale and Guy Cooper are both in these together. Jean-Michel Bale is number 1, Guy Cooper is number 4, and he moves into the lead there. And at the moment, you can just see Jean-Michel Bale on the inside, and that's Bernd Eckenbach, the German number 31. But Guy Cooper, one of the fastest men around, had a bit of trouble, mechanical trouble in Barcelona. And Bale seems as if he's sort of biding his time at this stage. There he is, look, and he's being followed by Jeff Ward, number 6, and number 14 is John van der Berg from Holland. So we've got Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki's, Yamahas and KTM's all in there at the moment, with Bobby Moore, number 12 there as well somewhere. So, now the big battle between Guy Cooper and Jean-Michel Bale. We've seen this so many times in the Masters before, and Guy Cooper just keeping him off, taking the inside line there. But Jean-Michel Bale not giving up. Of course, only 12 rounds in these semi-finals, and Guy Cooper certainly seems to have a bit of extra speed on the Suzuki, on the straighter sections, likes flying high. But Jean-Michel Bale just picking his time, waiting for Guy Cooper to make a mistake. And Guy Cooper just closing the door at that stage. And exciting stuff. So this washboard bit looks very rough and tough, doesn't it? It really is. And the camel humps really sorting the guys out. Guy Cooper still keeping off Jean-Michel Bale. It's neck and neck now. Side by side, Jean-Michel Bale just gets the inside line there and accelerates away into the front. So the Frenchman, who is the American champion, now holding off Guy Cooper on the Suzuki. And I think it's difficult to see who's there. Jeff Ward is just behind, and Bernd Eckenbach is still in there. But great riding here, and Jean-Michel Bale, if anything, riding a little bit more dynamically than Guy Cooper. Guy Cooper getting chucked about a bit, and Jean-Michel Bale reading the terrain a little better. So he's got a bit of extra speed, and then he's got the right hand side there ready for the inside line, and this is what gets him through and away as the shadows lengthen here in Monaco. The French champion and the American champion Jean-Michel Bale, the star, the hero of French motocross. And we can see Jeff Ward still in there. And I think that is Bernd Eckenbach in there. Really not much of a change. It was a bit of much of a procession. We've got no changes apart from that 1 and 2 position. And looking at the lap chart, we had a bit of a change between Pekka Vekkonen and Axel Holvert. at one stage. And fast riding here, you can see, 57 kilometers an hour. Oh, Jean-Michel Bale in trouble there. Now, can Guy Cooper get through? Guy Cooper goes through now. Jean-Michel Bale still on the right side of the curve, and he's going to be able to pull that one back, I'm sure. But an anxious moment, he's closing the door on Guy Cooper. And it just shows, just getting a little tired. This is a very, very tight and technical course for the guys. So he just reads the terrain slightly wrong, off balance, so easily done. If anything, he was going a bit too steadily and a bit too carefully there, and just lost a few yards. And Guy Cooper is most tenacious here in Monaco, isn't he? He's not letting go at all. 17 just going through there is Dean Matson of the States on his Suzuki. So, second for Guy Cooper, I can confirm. We got Jeff Ward third. Bert Eckenbach managed to stay in position. John van der Berg managed a good fifth there. Bobby Moore sixth, look. And Axel Holbert seventh. We'll be back with more motocross action after this break. Wonderful scenery here at Monaco as we see the best of the world lined up for the final on the first day. Unfortunately, not a vast public here. They're all in the casinos, I think, or chasing the ladies around. God knows what, but we're going to be chasing around here as we move into this final. And we're keeping our eyes on number 1, Jean-Michel Bale, number 4, Guy Cooper, number 2, Jeff Stanton, and there they are, look as good as gold with Talon Volant, number 25 in second position. Jean-Michel Bale taking that inside line through that first bend, and great riding by Talon Volant, tending to tire and lose a bit of concentration when he gets put under pressure, but Jeff Stanton certainly putting the pressure on the others right now as he's out in front there. That's Jean-Michel Bale biding his time, having a little battle there with Jeff Ward, number 6. On the Kawasaki machine, and number 5 of course is Stefan Everts, who he really hasn't been making much of a showing here. It's rather strange. So it's Jeff Stanton from Talon Volant, from I think Jean-Michel Bale then at that stage, maybe just not quite yet, and Larry Ward number 16 as well. There's Jean-Michel Bale being chased by Guy Cooper again, who is chasing Jeff Ward, who is chasing Jeff Stanton. And there is Stefan Everts, who had a lousy start. He was way back in 7th position after the start, and he's starting to work his way back up the field a bit now. Oh, well, Stanton has gone down. Now that is quite extraordinary stuff. In this 4th lap, Jeff Stanton has gone down, and he's got a lot of battling to do, and he's got a lot of big boys in front of him who are not going to let him through if they get a second of a chance, frankly. So the new leader right now, oh, there we see it in slow motion. It's a funny old course, this. It'll be interesting to see what the riders think about it afterwards. So engine still running, and away he goes. Interesting to see that a man of his experience looks over his shoulder before he pulls away. So here we see lap 5, Volant and Bale battling for first and second, and Jeff Ward back up into 3rd. Guy Cooper back up into 4th, but the Frenchman now in the lead. And if there was a French crowd here to cheer him on, it might make a bit of difference, but he's concentrating on the job in hand at the moment. Here we see that maneuver. It's an exact mirror image of what happened in that second semi-final. He rode that section better, and Volant, Talon Volant, a little more rigid, a little less dynamically balanced, and not reading the terrain quite as well. So, is it going to be a procession now, or are there some surprises? And Volant just has lost it completely. One thing, he's very tight, and he's let through both of those guys. So Guy Cooper and Jeff Ward go through there. And so it's Jean-Michel Bale, Jeff Ward, Guy Cooper, Talon Volant. Here we see them. And Talon Volant just loses it and loses his left footing on the footrest and goes right over to the right-hand side, way out of contention at that stage. And you can see Jeff Stanton pulling back through the field, number 2, at that point. So Jean-Michel Bell, the man who has absolutely dominated the 1991 Masters of Motocross, is out there again, putting on a superb. This is, of course, longer. The final is 18 laps. And we'll see the overall speed, average speed start to drop, of course, as the guys get more tired. You'll see a few more mechanical problems start to change the shape of the event. Guy Cooper riding very well in this event too. So there is Jean-Michel Bell. And Ward is out of it. Now that's twice he's gone down. He went down in lap 2. And, well, now he's way back. And Talon Volan, oh, nearly gets in the way of Jeff Stanton and just managed to avoid that. Talon Volan having a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, Jean-Michel Bell, 22 years of age, the USA National Supercross 250cc and National 250 and 500cc champion from the States. There's Guy Cooper, 29 years of age, a bit of a veteran really. Came second in the 125cc USA Nationals this year. And across he goes in second position, just flying it low and looking back. Jeff Stanton, 23 years of age, third this year in the States. And there we have a look at Volan actually managed fourth after that.